And right now we start with this breaking news from St. Tammany Parish. The top cop, Randy Smith, has resigned this afternoon.
As you know, Smith has been at the center of controversy after he attacked podcaster Bobby Couvion at a Madisonville restaurant last month.
Witnesses say he appeared to be drunk at the time, and today he pleaded guilty to those charges as part of a plea deal.
And as part of that plea deal, guys, Randy Smith also has to attend 15 months of sobriety court. It is a specialty court that they have here in St. Tammany Parish. And if he is successful in that, the agreement here is that they will reduce the felony second-degree battery charge to a misdemeanor charge. Now, this all happened May 29th at Keith Young's Steakhouse in Madisonville. Earlier this month, we saw the sheriff, Randy Smith, turn himself into authorities at the Tangibo Parish Jail. He posted a $10,000 bond, and it all culminated to this morning. Couvion, after this attack happened, talked to us and showed us video and pictures of his injuries. He said he went to the hospital with a concussion, showing us his bruises and laceration. And this morning, one of the most powerful men in St. Tammany Parish appeared before a judge, Judge Bado's office, at 9:30 this morning. Our WDSU North Shore Bureau reporter Chantel Davis was in that courtroom. She kicks off our team coverage of the latest developments. Chantel, tell us what happened in court today.
Hey, Sulla. So I do want to say that we never actually saw Randy Smith walk in the Justice Center. Now, I did see him walk into the courtroom inside of the side door. He came in. He seemed like he was in good spirits. He was dressed in navy blue, and he sat next to his attorney. Now, when he did leave the courtroom, he left again outside of that side door in the courtroom. So we never got a chance again to see him. Now, immediately following that hearing and that sentencing, we did speak with District Attorney Colin Sims. But before we get to that, I want to talk more about what happened inside that courtroom. Now, Bobby Couvion came to court sitting on the opposite side of Smith. Smith pled guilty to second-degree battery, which is a felony, and disturbing the peace, which is a misdemeanor. He then addressed the court, announcing that he would retire at 1 p.m. today. He apologized to his family, the department, and the residents of St. Tammany Parish. He also said in a quote, "I made a mistake and now I'm facing those consequences." The judge suspended a 2-year hard labor sentence and gave him 2 years of probation, ordering him to complete a specialty program. During the press conference, we asked Colin Sims, with the video evidence they had, what caused them to lean towards a plea deal. And this is what he said.
It secured his immediate resignation and allowed that the agency can move on in an orderly way.
I think it was the right thing to do. I think the pressure was coming down, and I think ultimately it saved a lot of tax dollar money and effort and time, not to mention, throwing the whole department under the bus.
Now, we did also ask Sims if his department would release the video. He says not right now because there is still another defendant on this case. You may remember Gregory Siraj. He is expected to appear in court for an arraignment on a second-degree principal battery charge, and that will happen August 20th. As far as Sims' pension, we're also told that he will keep his pension as well. I am in St. Tammany Parish. Chantel Davis, back to you.
Chantel, thank you so much for that. And here I'm live in Coop Drive in St. Tammany Parish at 1:30 today. Some of the council members here gathered for a meeting. It's their regular agenda review meeting, but I was able to catch up with some of them to ask them for reaction after this bombshell development today, guys. And many of them say that this is a somber day here in St. Tammany Parish. The sentiment is all the same. They say that the critical message here is that it comes at an important time when Sheriff's Department is asking the voters to go to the ballot box this Saturday and pass a very important millage. It's 4.31 mill tax. It's a 10-year renewal for the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Department to fund the deputy's salary. They say it generates about $13.3 million a year. And parish officials, when I spoke with President Mike Cooper and Jeff Corbin, they all tell me that this is about the men and women who are in their uniform serving our community every day. Take a listen.
It is an important millage. I actually endorsed and supported the renewal of this millage several weeks ago, knowing that it is for our deputies. It is for those who are patrolling our neighborhoods, for those who are protecting our parish.
It's an unfortunate incident, but at this point in time, I want to, say that I pray for Randy Smith and his family and everybody that's involved in the situation, and I wish him the best. And I also want to thank him for the 40 years of service that he gave to this community.
Again, so a lot of gratitude for Parish Sheriff Randy Smith for serving about 35 years in law enforcement. Now, here is how the transition is going to work, because now they want to focus on moving forward. And so yesterday we heard that bombshell announcement of Jeff Boehm, the second in command, stepping down. So that automatically got Brett Eibert as a second place. So he is now the interim sheriff, Brett Eibert, and the third in command now is George Cox. So Brett Eibert, although he didn't give us an on-camera interview, he released a lengthy statement talking about the transition process. And he says in part, quote, "My role here is not to begin a political campaign. My role is to provide stability, continuity, and leadership during this transition, and to ensure that the next elected sheriff inherits an agency that is strong, professional, and fully prepared to continue serving the people of St. Tammany Parish." And of course, we expect to hear more from the interim sheriff, Brett Eibert, later on. There is a special election that has to take place now to fulfill the rest of Smith's term.